That was just a public service announcement approved by Barack Obama. Anyway, a lot of you have been asking how I draw my anatomy drawings, and instead of answering like a normal person, I decided to narrate a video that I made. First things first, I listen to music with my headphones. I listen to rather obscure music like Ben Johnston's 7-string quartet. Amazing stuff. But yeah, these headphones are really light and they have no wires because wires are the bane of my existence. Then we have our sketchbooks, of course. This first one's a Moleskine sketchbook. It happens to be my first sketchbook. It has a lot of abstract art, some exploded diagrams. But yeah, I honestly have no idea what I'm doing most of the time. Then my Stillman and Burns sketchbook, it's a watercolor friendly sketchbook and it's my anatomy based sketchbook. This is what I normally post on my Instagram, but it handles watercolor very well. And my newest addition, this big Moleskine, but you're not allowed to see it. You can also buy these stickers wherever I'm awkwardly waving my hand. We have a watercolor set, which is a set of my watercolors. Amazing. We have water for my watercolor. And I intentionally like to spill water all over my desk so I can work out my wrist a little while I dry off my desk. Here's my pen case. I have normally 2 pens that I use to draw, the Micron to write and the Copic Multiliner to actually draw my drawings. I have an Escoda travel brush set. Look at this. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I only use the small brush, so the other 2 are just for show, you know, just to show that I'm a serious artist. Here's my external reference for anatomy, which is what I refer to externally. But yeah. So normally when I start drawing a piece, I have a blank sheet of paper, but given that this is just an experiment, I decided to use my sketchbook in the big Moleskine. I tend to also rotate and flip my pen just to assert dominance over my drawing. I'll open up my reference and look at the reference to see what type of composition I have to use, because the composition is normally where the artist's touch is most important. And a lot of people ask me, why don't you use pencil? Well, quite simply, pencils are for the weak. Now, as I start drawing this, you can tell that I go for the outline first and then I start going in for the details. Anyway, as I start drawing the images, it starts filling out and I feel more confident. A lot of people ask me what happens if I make a mistake because I'm using pen. Well, if I make a mistake, people normally can't tell because I draw in such a tight fashion that if there was a mistake, you wouldn't be able to tell, unless if you were really looking at my art. And if you were really looking at my art, I feel like I'm already doing my job, because what's art without the audience? I normally don't draw faces in pen, so this was a very unique experience for me. But I'm assuming that the watercolor will help flesh it out later. And this is an example of a fully fleshed out pen outline. And for my line work, I tend to make it so that it could stand by itself as art. In the watercolor community, it's normally sacrilege to only have 1 watercolor cup, but I don't really care about keeping my pigments clean, so yeah. Now, watercolor is very interesting because you basically use water to activate the pigment, hence watercolor. I'll demonstrate that in a few short seconds. There we go. Now, this is probably the face or skin tone color, but I just add random colors until it looks fine to me. And I'll start painting in the areas where I know it's going to be the most shaded, just so I can start adding depth. Always keeping in mind that the watercolor tends to dry lighter than when applied. If I use a bad color, I will basically leave it in there and I don't fret too much, because the lack of patterns and the randomness of the drawing is really what allows it to feel like art. And I feel that as an audience, when you start noticing patterns within the drawing, it feels more synthetic and therefore more mediocre. Here I'm just painting in the marrow of the cross sections, the rib cross sections. And with watercolor, I do a general pass, a light pass, illustrating where all the muscles are or where all certain aspects of the drawing are, so that when I start getting confused later on throughout the drawing process, I can tell, hey, that's a muscle. You can see my neck is at a 90-degree angle with my spine, so I try to step out and move around within every 10 minutes because I'll probably develop kyphosis. Anyway, I thank you guys for watching. This was a pretty fun video to make, and always wear sunscreen.